we're talking about, or Qur'an that we're talking about, they say the same thing. If you believe that, why would you put a bigger thing on Eve, Hawa, than Adam? You don't get excited about Adam. Okay, that's normal. We see people coming up out of the dirt every day. But a lady coming from a bone, this is amazing. Ajib. But hold on. Now later, one of the descendants, thousands of years later, a girl has a baby. But no husband. No father. Just a miracle birth. So we have miracle birth one way, but we also had a miracle birth another way. A woman born with no mother. And wait, the biggest miracle of obviously has to be Adam, coming from dirt, no mother, no father. And by the way, we would never worship Adam or Eve, would we? No, of course not. So already you start to see a different perspective that the Muslims have about Jesus. At the same time, we will tell you that he did many miracles. Not only he was a miracle in his birth, something out of the ordinary, something doesn't fit the science, but it happened. He also did miracles. Curing the leper, one who has a skin disease, cured him. Somebody is sick, they get well. Somebody is blind, born blind, and now they can see. That's a big miracle. But how about this? Somebody's dead. No heartbeat, no pulse, dead, turning to, not smelling so good anymore. And then bring them back to life. This is what we believe Jesus did this? By the permission of Allah. How? By the permission of Allah. This is what we find in the Bible. It doesn't say any difference. He said, everything I do, by what? By Allah. So, for sure, this is amazing, a miracle, but these are signs so that we know he is the prophet. We know he is the one who is the messenger giving us the message. I don't trust the messenger who comes to me, knock the door. Who is it? Messenger? Okay, what? Give me all your money. The king said, hand over all your money to me. Huh? Yeah, right. Do you have any ID? No, I left it in my other bicycle. But really, I'm not joking. I mean, just give me 50% of what you got. It's okay. What? Do you believe this guy? Of course not. What are you going to give him? A hard time. That's what you give him. Maybe I'm going to call the police, 911. I want to get rid of this guy because I don't believe him. But if somebody came and he said, no, really, I work for the king. He told me to come and talk to you. And I asked for ID. He brings me some proof. Has ID with him. Okay, it has his name, has his picture, looks like him. Okay, could be. But do you have any other sign? Do you have ID? Do you have a business card? Something to show me. And he said, oh yeah, I have this emblem from the king. Now this is the king's emblem, the official emblem, royal seal. Yeah, that's probably from the king. I better get my act together, do what he said to do. This makes sense. So in the same way, Allah made sure that the people didn't have any option. He sent his prophets with miracles and signs. Every prophet who came with miracles and signs. So the people had no doubt that they knew. I'll give you only one other example because we really do have to move forward with our subject. But there was one of the prophets of Almighty Allah who came to his people and he was telling them the message. The message is, and they said, we don't listen to you. But the message, no, we don't listen to you. You're no messenger. You're just one of us, a common person. Even though they saw his good character, they saw his nice way, he's humble, he's kind, he's so, but at the same time, they don't want to believe him. Because the message is a big message. They said, why don't you, see this big rock? Why don't you make a camel come out of this rock and she's pregnant with a baby camel? Why don't you do that? Then we'll believe. So Allah made the rock open up like an egg, you know what I'm saying? Boom. And there's a camel. And she's pregnant exactly like they said. What was the name of the prophet? Saleh. Did that happen? Yes. And then Allah gave him a test. Now this is another thing. When Allah gives you a big sign, He then gives you a big test. Imagine this. So Allah made it so the camel drinks all the water out of their well. And then the next day they can have the water. But then the next day the camel drinks all the water. And the next day they drink it. But now the problem, someone they said, why do we have to wait for water? Man, this is a big pain. This camel is drinking all this water, you know, and we need water. We're in the desert, you know. So one of them, he said, I'll kill it. And he killed the camel. And for this, Allah destroyed them. But it's not just because he killed the camel, is it? It's because of their disbelief, even after the proof comes to them. When Musa alayhi salam came, he gave many signs to Pharaoh. And Pharaoh would say, yeah, okay. But then he would change his mind. Every time, even when the Red Sea opened up, and here went the children of Israel behind Moses alayhi salam. And when they got to the other side, here's Pharaoh chasing them. And the children of Israel were saying, oh, we knew we shouldn't have done this. Man, they're going to get us. Oh, we're in big trouble. They were worried. But then Allah closed the water in on Pharaoh and his people. And look what Allah says. Huh? Look what He says. Because you refuse to believe. Because the guy, look what he's saying first. He's saying, okay, I believe in the God, the Lord of the children of Israel and Moses. I believe in Him now and I'm a Muslim. He said it. When the water was coming in on him. And Allah said, now? No way. Allah going to accept it now. And then He said, and will preserve you in your body as a sign. And guess what? That's one of the reasons why some of the scientists today have become Muslims, because they saw this sign. When they found, hey, here's one of the ancient pharaohs preserved with no embalming fluid, preserved without the regular embalming technique. How did they say, well, he drowned. It's evident that he drowned. And they said, well, maybe this is Moses. Not Moses himself, but the Pharaoh of Moses could be this guy. They brought in Dr. Maurice Bukai. He examined it and he found, to his surprise, oh my God, this could easily be the one mentioned in the Bible. That could be a true story. And when the Muslims there in Egypt said, so? He said, no, this could be. They said, so it's in the Qur'an. It says Allah will preserve him in the body as a sign. There he is. So we believe it. Dr. Maurice Bukai wrote 2 books, very famous. One's The Origin of Man, and the other one he wrote, The Bible, Quran, and Science. And by the way, he said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah. That brings us now to the message. What was the message of these prophets? What did they bring that was such a hard thing for the people to accept? What was being said that was so tough on them that they would reject even with these miracles in front of them? What was it that Jesus alayhi salam was telling His people? La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah. What does that mean? Well, if you've been around the Arabs, around their family, and they got children, you know this word la all the time. La, 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 la. And now you know what it means. I don't have to tell you, do I? No. So la, ilaha. Ilah is the word in English, God. Allah has no equivalent in English. There is no equivalent for the word Allah in English, so we substituted the word God with a big G, the same way the translators did when they translated the Hebrew and put a God with a big G or a God with a little g. And please, I'm sorry, but can't you be more creative than that? Because when people are talking, they don't have any way to show you the big G, little g. Be like, I was talking about that guy's little God, this little, and then the big God, and what's that? It doesn't make any sense. And when you start a sentence, you have to start with a big G anyway, so how do you make a distinction? The word Allah comes from the root But it's unique because you can say Al-Ilah. That means the God. So Allah does not mean the God. Al-Ilah means the God. Aliha, that's the gods. Al-Aliha, the gods. But the word Allah, coming from the root, means about worship. There's one part of the understanding in Islam called Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, which is the monotheistic understanding of worship. And that's from this word, Ilah. Allah cannot be made plural. The word cannot have 2 or 3 or 4. And the word Allah cannot have gender, male or female.